The First World War, the Great War, the war to end all wars. Men, women, and children would see just how devastating large-scale war was firsthand. The new technology that rapidly advanced since the Franco-Prussian War was on full display. Chemical weapons, tanks, planes, artillery, and machine guns were shown loud and proud for all the world to see. These weapons would lead to millions dying and millions more being haunted for life. With the weaponization of gas grenades and explosives, it was only time until it was in a handheld canister. By 1917, the United States designed their own gas grenades. The Mark II and Mark V KJ and CN gas grenades made the trenches even more dangerous. Not only were fresh, battle-ready soldiers ready to charge, but they also had a portable gas grenade. The Mark II and Mark V used stannic chloride, also known as tinfoil chloride. Stannic chloride was a non-deadly irritant used as a tear gas. It was very effective, inducing fear and chaos within German trenches when deployed. These grenades would become very popular among the Allies and see extensive use through the Second World War, as well as in law enforcement and civil matters. Explosive grenades were nothing new by World War I, but the German Stahlhelm-Granate was. Invented in 1915, the stick grenade or potato masher became a popular fragmentation grenade. Used by the Austrians and Germans, it was a very effective tool at clearing trenches. The stick grenade packed the biggest punch of most grenades at the time, and within only a year, and the advent of land ships, the Germans would strap 7 of them to one stick and use it as an anti-everything over there device. In 1916, Battle of the Somme. The British and Germans were locked in a stalemate, much like before. The British were about to gain the upper hand. While on September 15th, the British would first utilize Mark I land ships, code-named tanks. The German line fell instantly, with many scattering back to their fallback lines or surrendering at the treads of these metal behemoths. By 1917, the Mark V land ship had shipped. New and improved with 6-pound guns, a 19-liter 6-cylinder inline Ricardo engine with 150 horsepower at 1,200 revs per minute, with 4 303 Hotchkiss machine guns mounted on the sides and rear and a top speed of 5 miles per hour. The Mark V is considered the best heavy tank of the First World War. Despite its many issues, it still put the fear of God in the enemy's eyes, especially when captured. The French quickly caught on with the tank scene. The French made some of the best tanks of the First World War, like the F-2 Renault. Many know of that one, but many don't know of its lesser-known big brother, the Saint-Chamond. The Saint-Chamond was a medium assault tank, with a length of 29 feet and only a width of only 8. The 24.5-ton tank was armed with a 75mm Model 1897 gun. The engine is a Panhard Levasseur 4-cylinder gas engine. It too had 4 8mm Hotchkiss machine guns. The Saint-Chamond would reach speeds of 7.5 miles per hour in desired conditions. Just like its cousin, the Mark V, the Saint-Chamond had many problems. Its boxy shape also led it to being not as nimble nor fearful as the Mark V. Artillery. Long-range cannons used to decimate anyone and anything over in that general direction over there. The British had a devastating artillery piece during the First World War. The BL 9.2 siege gun was a British artillery piece made to siege anyone in their way. The 9.2 Mark I had a 290-pound shell and needed a crew of 15 to operate. Its range of 9.2 miles was insanely good and able to crumble a house in Belgium. A siege gun provided artillery support during the Battle of the Somme, where most of the guns were crewed and operated by Anzac forces, specifically Australians. The 9.2 could be towed or hauled by train. Its later variants became mainly railway focused and were used as more of a mobile artillery towards the latter end of the war. For thousands of years, man have wanted to soar through the sky with the birds. In 1903, Orville and Wilbur Wright made the first airplane, and within 12 years, man would use it as a means of destruction. One such plane was designated a fighter aircraft, and is one of the fastest planes of the First World War. The French Spad X-3 was a single-seat fighter that had a top speed of 133 miles an hour and a rate of climb of 1,312 meters a minute. The Spad X-3 was the first fighter aircraft of the United States Army Air Forces. The Spad X-3 had excellent maneuverability and amazing performance. The 283 horsepower Hispano-Suiza 8 BEC water-cooled inline engine powered the airplane, and its armament was two 303 Vickers air-cooled machine guns. The aircraft was sometimes fitted with Chet rounds or metal darts to drop on enemy trenches. The SPAD X-3 paved the way for the United States Army Air Forces, as well as many other air forces from around the world.
Sighted an enemy plane!
John Moses Browning was a firearms genius, from making some of the most iconic firearms in history, such as the 1911 M2 Browning, the Winchester 1887, or the 1897 trench gun. It is no doubt that John Moses Browning made some of the best firearms to ever walk this earth. One such example is the Browning 1917 water-cooled machine gun. The M1917 was a water-cooled machine gun that utilized the 30-06 cartridge. The 1917 had a fire rate of 450 rounds per minute and a standard issue fabric cloth belt that held 250 rounds. The 40-pound machine gun was a crew-served weapon system with a gunner and loader. The 1917 saw service from World War I all the way through Vietnam. Some Army Reserves used the 1917 all the way through the mid-1970s. By the time of World War I, the water-cooled design was nothing new, and Browning's 1917 wasn't the cheapest. The Browning was successful due to its reliability, being one of the most reliable machine guns of the First World War. Some of my personal favorite weapons of the First World War were somewhat obscure, except of course for the Vickers heavy machine gun. The Vickers machine gun was the most common machine gun during the First World War. Updated design of the Maxim, the Vickers was chambered in .303 British and saw use throughout both World Wars and even through the Falkland Island incidents. The Martini Henry was a beast of a rifle. The 49-inch black powder rifle was used by the British from 1871 to 1918. The Martini Henry fired the .557 by .450 Martini Henry round. The .557 was a beast of a cartridge that became popular for big game hunting such as moose and small elephants. Martini Henry has seen service from the British colonial wars even into small guerrilla groups in the Afghan wars of the present day. The Colibri was the design of an Austrian watchmaker who wanted women to have a less than lethal concealed handgun on them. Franz Fnau designed a 2.7 by 9mm cartridge for the pistol. The Colibri was in production from 1914 to 1938, with about 1,000 units being made. Colibri is considered the smallest commercially produced handgun in the world. The First World War was a dark time in human history. The stories and horrors to come out of the war were none to be brushed off. Millions of men, children, and women saw man-made horrors beyond comprehension. The First World War would only pave the way for advances in commercial technology, medical technology and practices, sciences, as well as weapon technology. With the Treaty of Versailles officially ending the war, it would only set the stage for an even costlier war, with rapidly advanced technology that would change drastically from its counterparts not 30 years prior.